All right, guys, go ahead and open your notebook to page 60. We're going to go ahead and label that page. And you'll be writing on that page in case you don't have the foldable. Page 60 is 24.1 transforming functions. We need to fill out all this. This was 54 and 55. This was 56 and 57. 58, 59, and today 60, tomorrow 61. Okay, so we need to fill out that tab. So we're going to label it 24.1 transforming functions. And I know technically we went backwards, but we're going to be talking about all the different types of functions. So 24.1 transforming functions, and that's the title for 60 and 61. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the foldable. It goes on 60. Looks like this. We're going to cut some of it off, actually. Okay, at the very bottom, there's a big sign there that I wrote all over. It says, cut that off. So we're going to cut off the bottom. We're going to throw that away. We're not even going to use it. We don't talk about that one. Okay, and then we're going to cut out the top little places here. The corners, basically, is what we're talking about, cutting off. Okay, so it looks like this. Then I'm going to fold it into the center. And fold the other one into the center. And then I'm going to cut on the dashed line, but I'm not going to cut all the way through. Don't cut all the way through. It's just going to cut, so we have 8 flaps, so we can talk about the 8 function transformations. You're going to want something that's of a different color, whether that's a highlighter, a pen, something that's a different color, so we can talk about these function transformations. All right, we're going to talk about vertical and horizontal, vertical translations up and down. So a translation is something that's going to move something either up or move it down. If it moves it up, it is on the outside, and it is like f of x plus k. So here we have plus 2. This is a linear function. So what that means is we are going to take the points and move them up 2. Every one of them is going to go up 2. That is what a transformation up, so plus k or plus 2, is going to look like. Then I'm going to graph this. So from the parent function, I have moved up 2. So I've transformed that by translation up 2 units. Okay. Down is, of course, when you subtract from the value. So I have minus 2. That means I'm going to move down 2 for every point. Okay, then I'm going to graph it. So I moved up 2 when it was plus 2. I moved down 2 when it was minus 2. That is a vertical translation, either up or down. It is when you add or subtract a number on the outside. Let's talk about a horizontal translation, which is either left or right. So a horizontal translation, we're either moving left or we are moving right. We are moving right if it is minus h on the inside. It is minus on the inside. I know that you're thinking right doesn't make sense to move minus on the inside. Remember when we did vertex form of a quadratic, vertex form of an absolute value? The inside kind of makes it the opposite. So that's what's happening. We're going to move right 3. So we're going to take this point and go right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do that for all 5 points. Right. 1, 2, 3. Right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to graph it. There is a horizontal translation right 3 units. Talking about left. Left is when you add inside. So I'm going to move all of these points left 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There is a horizontal translation left. Okay? Give me 1 second, I'll be back. All right, so we have our translations up, down, right, left. Now we need to talk about a reflection. A reflection is something that literally is going to flip. You're either going to flip over the x-axis or you're going to flip over the y-axis, and we're going to talk about each. We have this parent function square root here. And first let's talk about when we reflect over the x-axis. So reflecting over the x-axis means you will have a negative in front. Okay, the x-axis is here. We're going to reflect. Now this is sitting on the x-axis, so that point's going to stay. This one is going to reflect. This point is going to reflect. So I now have the reflection here in red. It has flipped over the x-axis. This is what a reflection of the x-axis looks like. It will have a negative in front. When you reflect over the y-axis, it will have a negative on the inside. Okay? It will flip over the y-axis. It's sitting on the y-axis. This is going to flip here, and this is going to flip here. So I'm counting how many units over it is. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is now pointing this way. That is a reflection over the y-axis. Last, we need to talk about a vertical stretch or a vertical shrink. A vertical stretch or a vertical shrink means it's either going to get wider or it's going to get narrower. We're going to talk about that with absolute value functions. A vertical stretch happens when you multiply a number that is bigger than 1 in front. What that means is, this is kind of like slope. We've got a 2, so instead of going up 1 over 1, we're going to start here and go up 1 over 2, up 2 over 1. So it is going to stretch, meaning it's going to be pulled out by a factor of 2. So this is a vertical stretch because it's like we took it and we pulled it up. That's a vertical stretch. Happens when it's bigger than 1 in front. A vertical shrink happens when it's between 0 and 1, meaning it is a positive number, but it is a fractional number. So we've got 1/2 here. That's going to be like we took this and we kind of pushed it down and made it smaller. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So this one kind of shrunk down because it is a half. Okay, there's what it should look like. All right, we're going to glue this in, and then we're actually going to talk about the homework for a second in this video. Okay, page 60. I'm going to glue this in. I'm actually going to end up accidentally covering the title. That's okay. It's also on page 61. Okay, so glue this in. I'm accidentally covering up the title, but that's okay. You can either rewrite it, which is probably what I'm going to do, or it's on page 61. So I'm actually just going to rewrite it. 24.1, transforming functions. Okay. We will do page 61 tomorrow. Something I want you to do now, there's a homework assignment posted. It's called Transformations Homework. You'll only be doing half of it today. Make sure you pay attention to the Google Classroom thing that says what half you're doing. But we need to talk about the instructions for 1 through 6. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the first homework problem with you. 1 through 6 all work this way. It says give the name of the parent function. That's the first part. The parent function, in case you don't know them by now, is back on page 38. You have 6 options. We have to decide what type this is. We can open all these to see what type it is. This has absolute value bars, so it is an absolute value function. That is the first part. Name the parent function. It is absolute value. Next, we're going to go back to today's foldable, and we're going to talk about what type it is. Okay? So it says, and describe the transformation represented. We don't have a number in front, so it's not a vertical stretch or shrink. It's not negative in front, so it's not a reflection. So let's pay attention to what's going on the inside. On the inside, we have either a horizontal translation right or a horizontal translation left. Since it is minus, we have a translation right right 4 units because it's got a 4. Okay? Then with the plus 2, we have either a translation up or down. It is plus, so it is a translation up 2 units. That is what you are going to do on each of these, is describe what is going on. You will not put the units on anything except for a translation. On the others, you will just list the answers. All come from here. It's either a vertical stretch, vertical shrink, reflection, reflection, translation, all of those, okay? There are your options for the homework. Pay attention to which ones you're doing tonight. We will do the others the next video, okay?